and sanitation is recognized globally as a human right, but only 65% of Ugandans have access to clean water. Approximately 23,000, including 19,700 children under 5, die each year from diarrhea directly attributed to poor sanitation and hygiene. Some of the communities in acute need for clean water are the Batwa. The Batwa are a marginalized minority community who live in Kisoro district. Having been displaced from their initial settlements near Echuya forests to pave way for the conservation of a game park, the Batwa were resettled in areas of Murora and Kanaba. These areas are extremely mountainous and hard to reach, a situation which has made access to social services, including water, a myth.
It's like adding a wound to an injury. They were thrown there. Where they are is the source of water, which they cannot tap. They see water from their land flowing down, but they cannot tap it because from their area, down, it's like 2 kilometers.
This situation is worsened by the fact that the Batwa are not represented in the entire leadership of Kisoro. For this reason, they try to give messages to strangers whom they assume can be of help to voice their plight to the local leadership.
Turashaka nyine ngo kwewe muduhe amazu meza hanyuma n'amazi meza tubone ko twagira ubuzima nk'ubwanyu bumeze neza.
This same situation is experienced in other parts of Kisoro. In Muramba sub-county, women and children undergo appalling situations just to access water. They have to wait for water to gather around rocks for them to fetch using cups. They compete with cows for the same water sources, and in some situations, people have had to enter under the rocks which are so insecure.
The communities of Urshinja village, they come here early in the morning at 6 with their jerrycans and cups in search for water, whereby it's the only source where they can get water from. It's not that the water is clean, or it is good, or it is much, but they have no option because it is the only water source where they can access water.
Some women have moved during midnight, at around midnight, to go to get this water. And so one woman was raped actually when she was going to get this water. So it is a complex problem. You see, with the issue of Kisoro, the water table is very low.
Hinged on reversing this undesirable trend, since 2009, Uganda Water and Sanitation NGO Network, USNet, has been coordinating the governance and transparency program implemented by its members. Health through Water and Sanitation, HEWASA, in Rwenzori region, Community Integrated Development Initiatives, CD, and the National Association of Professional Environmentalists, NAPE, in central Uganda, and the Agency for Cooperation and Research in Development, ACORD, in southwestern region, aimed at promoting good governance in service delivery. Through this program, ACORD teamed up with the local community-based organization, the Good Samaritan Community Development Program, to improve service delivery in Kisoro. Aside from advocating for service delivery to the Batwa community and sensitizing them on holding government accountable, ACORD focused on hazardous lagoon in Kisoro Town Council, which has since 2005 posed a threat, releasing a foul smell to the surrounding communities, some of whom have abandoned the area. Public and private institutions like schools have closed, and increased illnesses have been registered as the lagoon has become a breeding ground for mosquitoes that carry malaria. Working with ACORD, Reverend Manuel Biguli, the program advisor, Good Samaritan Community Development Program, have been engaging community leaders to relocate the lagoon.
They were not believing, the district administration was not believing that the lagoon was a problem. Until we engaged some research. We did social research, we did medical research, and we produced reports.
The lagoon challenge resulted from a sewerage treatment plant whose technical considerations and processes were compromised during construction. 70 years old Wilson Chetendera is one of the victims. His children have since abandoned home due to the terrible smell coming from the lagoon.
Endwara ni nyingi nkanye kanwa kari kugamba nkarwara n'endwara yo kunuka mu kanwa abwo butarya nkaga magingo nibitandika kunuka cyamushana hayo ati na maremi yakanka mukaga abana banje nico cyatumire bahunga abaturage abahanu bona bakigira umwe kizarukijwe ikintu mu kireba bamukama wacha kari master.
But the leadership are blaming the poor drainage to lack of environment impact assessment, while others blame it on the overpopulation. The lagoon was estimated to serve not more than 500 households, and the number has since shot up.
Despite the other problem of the chambers, how they constructed them, this chamber to feed this one, that kind of chain is not there. It's not there. So the way it was constructed, I think it was done hurriedly because Kisoro district had wanted to connect water. So they asked the Austria embassy to support them. So they said, now, if you want us to give you water, then you have to ensure that you construct a lagoon, and then we shall give you water. That's how it was done hurriedly. And actually, when we insisted that they give us an environmental impact assessment report, it was not there.
The LC3 chairman asserts that the local leadership cannot do much to handle the situation, and that the challenge of the lagoon can best be handled by the central government.
To relocating that thing, we couldn't promise because that one would be an empty promise. If that thing was done using about 4 billion, and this council cannot even raise 4 billion within 4 or 5 years, do you think it is easy for us as a town council? It is not easy. For us, we have done what we would do, like maybe spraying those homes around, and even provision of the water of the nets, and also reducing on the smell.
Engagements with the entire leadership through radio talk shows and dialogues, a new place has been earmarked to relocate the lagoon, and what now remains as a challenge is the funding for the construction. Related to this challenge, the urban poor in Kampala Central Division have been battling with the construction of a drainage channel. Community Integrated Development Initiative, CD, working with Action for Slum Health and Development, set up an advocacy committee which was empowered with knowledge to acquire information, especially on budget allocations, and follow up the implementation. In monitoring and tracking the division's budget, they discovered that money had been released to a company, but no work had been done.
So when they were analyzing the budget, they realized that the drainage which was supposed to be constructed in Tamanyangamba, it was not constructed. They forwarded that issue up to the division.
The vigilance of the advocacy committee, which compelled the leadership to visit the area on a fact-finding mission, enabled them have an understanding of the water situation in the area, as people were only dependent on a well said to be contaminated. This was the genesis of the introduction of prepaid meters in the area.
Out of these interventions, we've seen ACORD working through their structures, lobbying National Water and Sewage Corporation to establish prepaid water meter points. Much as we still have challenges of operation and maintenance and delay in repairs being accessed, but at least we've got a couple of prepaid water meters in place, and where they're still working, people can access water at cheaper rates, but where they're breaking down, and that is the challenge we are facing, people are coming back to the contaminated water sources.
In the Rwenzori region, communities in Kamwenge district tasked the local government leadership to explain the circumstances under which the gravity flow schemes failed to function in Kahunge sub-county. Kwizera Samuel, the chairman LC2 Chokanyemera parish in Kahunge sub-county, testifies that the introduction of radio talk shows have made it easy for the people to air out their grievances. He says that after people aired out what pains them on a public radio, the leadership and the technocrats have been seen to move faster than they used to in the past, where meetings could not yield much.
Cha radio chikakora munonga kuchira echo kurebana n'abakuru. Ako ngwe chachonjeraga mu manpower munonga.
As a result, 13 shallow wells and 2 boreholes have been sunk since the start of the Governance and Transparency Fund project, advocating for accountability from leaders in the water sector. He attributes their success to Kamwenge Community Development, KCD, and Hewasa, who have been empowering the local community right to demand for service delivery. Kwizera narrates how he carried bottles of unsafe water to offices of leaders and was later joined by the village committee, who furthered the pressure and action was taken.
Nyowe nkegura mizi agabana bishome bani banywa nagatomo kacupa nagatwara district katwara ubucupa mu buno bucupa bw'rwenzori na kahana nkeje mu office ya chairman RC5 na RDC no wakawo nabutwara ito nashona zana ha radio kuna ikireho radio babitana ha makuru aho mpaho kutwasho twazayo nyine na group yo muruka nyine yabyamizi hate bananka bamanyanga bantaba bari kubi beje batukorera nankeje repair ya borehole jonjije rya Karimera.
The village committees are now focusing on the maintenance of the wells and boreholes and have set a monthly fee per household to avoid dependency on government. Provia Orichiriza is a member of the village committee.
Okay, borehole kuba mazire kugikora bumwe hari ubwo ari kusisikara. Hatikeri kusisikara tugenda mu ba water users kutwa contribution yo kureba ngo twakora ki twagarura hamizago. Then abandi hari habari kwanga nibanga kushashura their contribution and they want to use water.
The story in Kamwenge is not different to that of Mukono district, where a National Association of Professional Environmentalists have formed village women advocacy committees, which is now influencing resources allocation at Mukono Municipal Council.
Nga tuyita mu mitendera okugeza nti bwenva muba water user committee awo mba nina okugenda mu LC1 nina okugenda ku LC2 nina okugenda ku LC3 then ku district abwe biba biganye awo nina okulaba MP nga tuyita mu mitendera so si kuveno nofubutuka noga kati vudde wange ngenda ku district nsabe oluzi batulugigiriza nti dembe lyaffe okubeera nga amazzi gatuli kumpi omuntu leka gamba nti dembe lyokutambula mayiro 3 ng'ogenda okuleeta ki amazzi dembe lyaffe okubeera n'amazzi amayonjo mu bitundu byaffe waliwo okutukolera oluzi naye ng'ate siriki si wayonjo bayinza otukolera oluzi naye ng'amazzi ge luleeta matini tulina okukyogerako tibannaye eddembe lyaffe okubeera n'amazzi agatumala mu byalo byaffe saagatumala obumazi naye nga mayonjo.
The communities are at a level of knowing that a water point is where we draw water and we use that water to make sure we meet our needs. So any other person who is coming in to do whatever activity is doing on that water source, looking at where the water is coming from and where it is ending, the communities are aware that without them being convinced that whatever activity is going to happen around that area is for their good, they will never rest, they will never look around and let anything that is negative to them happen on a water point.
In the southwestern district of Mbarara, gross mismanagement of a gravity flow scheme in Rugando sub-county has become a topical issue, and communities together with civil society are up in arms, calling for action on the part of the local government. The gravity water flow scheme was estimated to feed in 72 tap stands, with each village having 2. But since the launch of the scheme, illegal connections had been registered on houses of the well-to-do locals, who fill their tanks to the disadvantage of the underprivileged.
Illegal connections is abo kugira ngo abantu bingi bine abana bashomera iby'amizi naza nkambarira ayireta n'omuntu we am connecting ahinta kumanya hati nyonchi banintambura nko nani ndabara bamukomu uhuru umuntu yagira ati atkonkashi atamizo wananka ati no gamanya kugajireyo kantagamanya ninga ncheza komoranka naje na interagazana naje nka pipeline kureba arayi neja mizgazayo ninga hata nshanga nka kumunta mizgaro ngagira ki ngagenda hata gushanga ina mizi.
Sylvester Byabarema works with Chera Farm Training Center, a civil society that advocates for water and sanitation in Imbarara and in Sinjiro district with the support of ACORD. He says that as part of the measures to deal with illegal connection, the private users should be metered.
We wanted those people who have got water in their houses to be metered so that they pay, so that the taps stands which are for public can stay, but at least be managed, and also give them meters so that they give a little bit of money for the management of the scheme.
In response to the outcry of the people, the district local government is working to expand on the gravity flow scheme to increase access to safe water for the people in the area.
This financial year, we have included it to our work plan. We are redesigning the scheme to add more water to the scheme so that the people can have more water.
However, as the project winds up, implementers are saying that the project has been a learning process that has impacted on the sector, especially enabling people understand that water and sanitation is their human right that should participate in decision-making and should demand from government to deliver the services.
A 4-year completed, be it a first phase, so that we give it another phase and have what we would call an exit strategy. In